Hello, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. Hi, my name is Erin, and today I'm going to be doing kind of a roundup of the books I read for the months of April and May. I didn't read that much. I read a lot in February and March, like a lot of books. But April and May are the end of the school year. I'm a teacher, if you didn't know, and so I didn't read that much. And so I don't have that many books. So, by the way, if you're new to my channel here, hi, my name is Erin. I am a teacher, and so April and May are months that are slower for me with reading as well as movie reviews, all kind of things that I like to do here on my channel, which are books, movies, and makeup. So if you're interested in any of those topics, then definitely think about sticking around. Hit the subscribe button, and by the end of this video, if you liked it, definitely hit the like button as well. But yeah, I'm just going to talk about some books I read in April and May. I'm just going to smash those 2 months reviews and round up all together, tell you what I thought about the books that I read for those months, and then hopefully in June I have a lot more books that I'm going to be reading. I have my June TBR coming up soon as well, so let's go ahead and get into it. This is a little bit late because I was on vacation in Puerto Rico for several days, but we're getting on to it. We're getting back into film. I'm getting back into filming because I haven't filmed in a few days. I pre-filmed a lot before my vacation, but back into it. I'm back getting ready to film these videos and update you guys on everything going on in my life. So anyways, without further ado, let's talk about some books. So the first book I'm going to talk about is one that I finished in April. I'm almost 100% sure. The months have kind of blended all together, but I finished this one in April, and it led up to May, which was my month of Stephen King. So I did do a whole review on this book. It's on my channel. I will link it up in either the eye or down in the description box if you want to click on the link to go see my full thoughts on this book. So I won't go into extreme detail with this since I already did a whole video on it, but I really did like this book by Stephen King called Apt Pupil, about a student or about a boy, a young boy that is so fascinated with everything Nazi. And this boy is pretty much a little psycho, really. I mean, psychopath. Honestly, he loves everything Nazi, and he finds this Nazi that has gone into hiding in his neighborhood and figured out that he was actually a Nazi war criminal. And so he kind of blackmails this guy into telling him all about the stuff that he did during the Second World War, all of the crimes he committed, and they kind of almost formed this sort of, I don't know, parasitic relationship to each other where they need each other. They feed off the sickness of the other, the evilness of the other one, while all the while hating each other in a way. So the book is quite interesting. Quite a wild ride. If you don't like things with a lot of graphic sort of descriptions, which this one does go into, especially when they're talking about the war crimes that this Nazi guy committed, and also some of the stuff that the characters do later on without completely spoiling the book, then this might not be for you. But if you want to look into the evilness of these characters and sort of go into their mind a bit, then this might be a book for you. I think I rated this one a B- when I did my video, so I will stick with that. I think it's about a B-. Pretty great book, my absolute favorite from Stephen King, but I think it's pretty a nice read, and it's pretty short. It's more of a novella than it is a full novel, with it, yeah, coming in at 200 pages. Yeah, okay, that's not too long, but not too short either. But yeah, and the ending I thought was actually pretty good as well. Apparently there's a movie to that one as well. I'm gonna try to watch that one this year for sure, since I read the book, and apparently the book is ending is different from what they did in the movie, so interesting. Sticking with Stephen King, I also finished up this book. I want to say I finished this one in May. Like I said, the months have been mashing together, but this one I actually started quite a while ago, in 2020. Never finished it, picked it back up this year and finished it in either April or May, one of those months. But this one is about this secret institute that's kidnapping children with these abilities, basically like telekinesis or telepathy, and they are trying to figure out what makes them tick, basically, pretty much torturing these kids, obviously kidnapping them and killing their parents. And it's quite an interesting read. I wouldn't say this one is very horror, more like a thriller for sure. There's definitely horrific moments in it, But I did really enjoy this one. It's quite a long book, coming in at, yeah, 500 pages, 550 pages. So just under 600 pages. Not just under, but close to 600 pages. So quite a long read. So you'll need a bit of time for this one. I bought this one from Target, as you can see from that very glaring sticker. So this is my copy. This is my copy as well. I bought this one from Amazon. And overall, I really, really enjoyed this book. I didn't do a review on it, but I would give this one probably the same as the app pupil. Maybe like an A minus B plus, in that range, maybe a B plus, I would say, because I really did enjoy the book, but there were some elements of it that I felt could have been a little bit better. But of course, it's Stephen King. Like, he's a master at writing. He does really well with his areas that he excels in. I would say the ending, I wouldn't say was the strongest for me. I won't go into what the ending was, but it wasn't the strongest for me, but I'll let that slide. And the way at the beginning of the story, we start off following this guy that used to be a cop. And at first I was like, how does this go into with the kids? Because then we start with that guy, then we move into the story with the kids, which is like the majority of the book, with them in this institute trying to survive, trying not to get zapped by these people that work in this institute, and being tortured and prodded and tested. Very, very creepy crap going on in this institute, as they're trying to kind of like use these kids for very nefarious reasons, using their gifts and their powers. And so I was so confused how those two storylines were going to meet up. But when they did eventually meet together, I thought it was a really nice, seamless way to wrap those two stories together. And I liked how that was done. So overall, pretty good book. Like I said, I would give it probably about a B plus for me rating. Next one is going to be this book that I got from the library. Took me a minute to get into this one, but this one is Clay's Ark by Octavia E. Butler, who is a black woman author. And this book is another one that's quite short, more of a novella, about 200 pages than a long novel, you get what I'm saying? Very, very short read. It got me a minute to get into it, though. At first I started reading it, and then I actually had to renew the book because I hadn't finished or even got into it by the time it was time to return it. Renewed it, finished reading it, and actually pretty much enjoyed it a lot. I've been wanting to read from this author a lot. I've heard a lot of good things from her books, but that they can be kind of tackling some tough topics. This one, though, was very strange, and I think a lot of her books are also kind of sci-fi in that genre, which I don't really read a lot of sci-fi. That's not my genre, really. So when I was reading this one, it was interesting. It was interesting. I don't know how even to describe it. So let me just tell you what the book's about. It's about this family that gets carjacked on the highway, and we're like in this bizarre future world. And so they're in the California desert with these people that have been, basically, their bodies haven't been invaded by this alien microorganism, right? It attacks their body like a virus, but it's not like they're being killed off from it. Some of them are being killed off from the disease, but the ones that survive are transformed. They're stronger, they're extremely hungry, they've got unnatural desires, which is really pushed a lot in the book. Their unnatural desires, they want to like sleep with everyone. They're nearly immortal, and once they procreate or they have kids, the children are coming out and they're not exactly human. So that's the basic premise of the book. This family, it's a dad and his two daughters, which are twin daughters. They get carjacked, and they get in. They're basically, the group is going to try to infect them and keep them in their like little society they're building up in the desert. Very strange, very, very strange, but very interesting concept. And wow, I don't know how to put it into words. And I actually found out later that this is part of like a series. I don't think that you need to necessarily read the series in order, though. I think you can read them as standalones, because basically this story within itself is a complete story within itself, but there could be room for stuff before and after. And apparently this is like the third one, or second or third one within the little series. Yeah, something like that. So I didn't even know that, But if you read this one without reading any of the other books, I think you wouldn't be confused at all. Pretty much it's a standalone book. But yeah, I don't know how to put my feelings into this book or how even to describe it. I don't even know where I would put this as far as a grade. I definitely enjoyed it. I pretty much liked the characters. I just thought there were some aspects of it that were quite weird, quite strange, a little bit overboard. So maybe I would give this one like a C plus. C plus. Definitely want to read more from the author though. I like her writing style. I like where she was going, and I think she has a very, especially just from this story alone, very unique ideals. So I really want to read Kindred. That's the one I was looking for, but they didn't have it at the library, and I didn't put in a hold for it, which I should have done, but I ended up picking this one up because this one was in stock. So I'm definitely want to read Kindred. I've heard a lot of good things about that one. So for this one, más o menos, more or less, it was pretty good. So I would give it about a C minus in that area. Not terrible, not the best either. Okay, the rest of the books I've read were on the Kindle app, so they were digital books. Nothing, I don't have a physical copy for them. First one I want to go into, I finished in May, which was The Unwanted Wife. It was a romance, basically a romance book. I love romance novels. This one was okay. I think it was a little strange, very much interesting premise about this man who marries this woman, and she loves him, but he doesn't love her, and he just wants a child from her. So you get what I'm saying with the storyline there. But I like the way it went. I like the way it progressed with the story, with the guy finding out that he really does love her. So for that one, I wouldn't say it's like high tier reading, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, high level thinking reading at all. But it's a quick, enjoyable little romance novel if you like some like drama within the relationship, which I do. I love the drama. Bring me the drama within the romance book. It makes it interesting. It makes it fascinating to read. And who doesn't like a little drama in their book, right? At least I do. So for this one, well, I would probably give it a C minus. Not the best romance I've ever read, but I liked it. It had a little bit of drama. If you don't like really cold, standoffish male characters, this is not for you. But it was an interesting little read. And then the other two books I read in April. One, they're both how would I call the genre? Fantasy, romance, novels with like fairies and mages and stuff, that kind of thing, which is not my favorite type of books to read. I love fantasy novels. And I love fantasy movies, but as far as fantasy romance, not my thing there. So I gave these a try and actually did enjoy both of them. I had one, The Faceless Mage, I thought was pretty good. I thought that one was probably the better one of the two that I'm going to mention, about this girl who's has the ability to change her appearance, and so she goes into this enemy, or not enemy, but like this kingdom, pretending to be the princess from her own kingdom. She goes into this other kingdom to try to form an alliance and kind of stake out and see what's going on, to see if it's safe for her princess to go to this different kingdom to be married, to have a arranged marriage with their prince. And she ends up finding out that it's quite wicked in this different kingdom. Like it's something going on, something's not right here. And while she's there, the king's bodyguard, who's this like tall, big, armored guy that nobody has seen his face, she starts to form a connection with this guy, and it's something unnatural about him because he never sleeps, he never eats, he's just there, a force of fury and anger and a killing machine, basically. So the book I think the book was pretty good. I like this one a lot. I would give this one probably like a B minus. I would say I enjoyed it. The other one I read, which was the other fantasy romance book, was The Moonfire Bride, and it's from a series called Candlelight and Shadows. First book that I read from them. I don't know if I will continue this series with The Faceless Mage either. I might consider continuing with both of the series, but I enjoyed the first books for both of these. So The Moonfire Bride, I liked it. It was okay. I wouldn't say it's as good as The Faceless Mage one though, but it was about this fae or fairy, or whatever you want to call it, who basically tricks this girl and kidnaps her into going off to his like magical place or whatever, and she ends up having to marry him, but she can't ever see his face, so he's like hidden in the shadows at all times. And she like hates this guy because he kidnapped her away from her family and tricked her and blah blah. But also they start to form this bond being around each other. Again, quite a interesting premise, strange, very medieval, like marrying someone that like kidnapped you. But again, this is like a fantasy romance. I'm gonna put aside all of my 21st century thoughts. But it was an interesting little read. I did enjoy it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it as much as The Faceless Mage either, as far as like for the fantasy romance, which I don't really dabble in that much at all. So I would give that one probably like a C minus overall. C minus overall. It was an okay book. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have read for the months of April and May. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 books. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 6 books. So pretty much like 3 books a month, which not the most I've read in a month ever, but overall pretty okay since it was the end of the school year and we were doing so much. I was so busy. It's like the worst time of the year for how busy it is. But overall, that's what I read this month. What do you guys think? Have you read any of these books? Let me know. For sure, I would recommend Apt Pupil by Stephen King, The Institute. Clay's Art was pretty good. Faceless Mage, if you want a fantasy romance novel, that one's pretty good as well. So yeah, those are all the books I read this month and my thoughts on them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up button like I said at the beginning of the video, and check out some other book content that I do on my channel. I do these videos not super often, but I do like talking about books because reading is one of my passions. It's one of the things I really, really love. So if you're interested in other book content, you can click on the book or reading playlist that I'm going to have in the description box to check out some other books videos on my channel. How many times I'm going to say book? Take a shot every time I say the word book in this video. Anyways, you guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Stay safe. Adios.